Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. The latest patch for Astroneer dropped today, bringing bug fixes and a couple of quality of life improvements for the much beleaguered Megatech DLC. The list of bug fixes is quite long, and I doubt you want to listen to me read them all. I've included a link to the Astroneer blog patch notes in the description down below, so you could read through them all if you wish. I do want to highlight a few key items though. Nintendo Switch players, Megatech will be available for you later this month, and it will arrive complete with all of the hotfixes and patches to date. If you pick up the Megatech DLC for Switch, your launch experience will be much smoother than it was for everyone else. Before today's patch, if you used a Mega Deconstructor to remove an intermodal terminal, the integrated fuel canisters would most likely remain in place and become non-interactable. This problem has been fixed, and if you happen to have any homeless integrated fuel canisters hanging around in your save, you can remove them with dynamite. The Biodome got some love too, with a fix for nubcap plants never dropping mega seeds, and a fix preventing the auto harvesters from leaving harvested items floating in the air inside of the Biodome. They have also fixed an issue that caused cone pod seeds stored in the canister being returned as nubcap seeds. Your cone pod seeds will no longer become a new species of plant and will still be cone pod seeds when you retrieve them from a canister. Pre-existing large fluid and soil canisters and large gas canisters have been updated as well. If you haven't been keeping track, Megatech launched with rather low storage capacities for both of these canisters. A hotfix increased that storage, but any pre-existing canisters that you already have created weren't updated to the new capacities. Well, that has been fixed, so any canisters you had on hand should be updated to the new value. Gravity wasn't really functioning properly for items in the sunroom or on the unidentified satellite, but today's patch has corrected that problem. For those of you who have been struggling to complete the research item collection for the museum, this patch has good news. Now, instead of needing a very specific mineral from each planet and moon, you can use any mineral research item from those locations. Note, you will still need one mineral research item from each planet and moon, but the collection requirements have been expanded so that any of them will meet the requirements. Editor Brandon here with just a quick update on the research collection. You do need one mineral research item from each planet, but you now only need one technology research item from an EXO research aid. It doesn't matter which one of the 5 you supply, as long as you have one, you will complete the collection. If you previously completed the collection with all 5 technology research items, remove 4 of them and you should be able to enable the perk. On top of that, and this is something I called out in my mini problems with Megatech video, you can now lock museum display cases into place. No more accidentally picking up a platform when you're trying to move a display case or an item on the platform. Those are the main items I wanted to point out today. But there are a ton more bug fixes and even a handful of quality of life improvements in today's patch. By the way, if you're wondering why more quality of life improvements or even older bugs haven't been updated yet, Systemera addresses this in the opening to the patch notes. We should start seeing some of these older legacy bugs getting some attention in March's update. They did point out that the reason some of these legacy bugs are still around is because they're not the easiest things to fix. Still, we should see some of them being fixed next month, with more of the legacy bugs being squashed in the coming months. For quality of life improvements, we should start seeing more of them in the coming months as well. When it comes to bugs, there are a couple of high-profile ones that Systemera is having a bit of difficulty getting solved, and they want your help. If your DLS has failed to launch one of the orbital platform packages and gets locked into a state of launch in progress, or if you play on Xbox or via the Microsoft Store on PC and have save files that are not saving properly, then Systemera really wants to hear from you. Both of these issues are being tracked, but there is also a bug investigations channel on the Systemera Discord. That channel has a couple of different threads that spells out the specific information that they would like impacted players to submit to Systemera support. Hopefully, with enough information, these two high-profile bugs can be resolved. And that wraps up the patch notes, but there is one other item I want to touch on briefly. This week also brought the final Systemera vlog on YouTube. Systemera isn't going anywhere and they still plan to create content for the community, but the vlogs have wrapped up. In the final vlog, they did touch on updates going forward for Astroneer. We're seeing some of that right now, with a regular cadence of monthly updates for the first half of this year. But looking beyond that, I get the impression that they're aiming to strike a better balance between introducing new content while also including bug fixes for ongoing issues. For years now, I've been saying that they needed to adopt that balance, so I'm really glad to hear this one. Today's patch hasn't solved all of the problems of Megatech. There are still tons more remaining. Bugs causing things not to work properly, and quality of life improvements that still need to be made. For example, why do plants wilt inside of a biodome, but they won't wilt when planted in regular terrain? The whole wilting thing seems like a rather lame and unnecessary game mechanic. I would expect a really expensive, state-of-the-art biodome, complete with artificial sunlight and fertilizer, to keep plants alive indefinitely. I mean, if they can live forever in regular terrain, they should stick around forever in the biodome too. But that's just a personal rant of mine and some other people I've talked to, and I'm getting sidetracked. My point is that I believe Systemera is living up to their promise of getting the Megatech DLC disaster cleaned up so we can actually enjoy playing it. I would still like to see a bit more on the communication side of things. I realize that they want to be flexible with what fixes go into which updates, but I think it'd be great if, once they confirm something is going to be in the next update, they could put out a quick message saying so. Sort of like compiling patch notes in real time. That would show us that work is still taking place throughout the month, and maybe even build up some excitement for what's to come each month. But that's just my opinion. I want to know what you think about how things are looking for Astroneer. Head down to the comments and let me know your thoughts. Do you feel Systemera is moving in the right direction with the past few patches? Would you like to see more communication from them? And do you think Megatech will finally be an enjoyable experience to play through once these monthly updates wrap up? While you're leaving your comments, if you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to hit the like button. And if you enjoy Astroneer content, then be sure to get subscribed. I feature Astroneer update news and reviews, plus my channel is home to Astroneer Academy, which is the best guide series you will find anywhere. Plus I also feature Starseeker news as it becomes available. My channel is also home to videos from a variety of other games as well. And with that, until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.